Hello, Luis.
Teacher, how are you doing?
Good.
Uh,
You,
can you see my face?
you had a crazy day,
Wait, teacher. Yeah, really, really. Today, I don't know what day is today. Okay, I really don't know.
but you are
Yes,
about to finish. You finish in
yes.
2 weeks, right?
The most important is that tomorrow I'm gonna finish with the grades and to be with the students. I'm gonna quit. Really, there are a lot of bad. How do you say? People are being very rude with us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not what we want when we work.
Yeah, so well, you finish tomorrow.
Yes, teacher. Tomorrow I'm finished. I'm finishing. Yeah. How are you doing?
Okay, good, good. I recorded the previous encounter and I will upload it tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna check the encounter. It was about the topic that is I was working on it a little bit. Did you see my presentation?
No, I haven't read it yet. I will check it
Okay.
tomorrow. But it was about teaching reading, and it was also about how to write a lesson plan based on the TBL stages, because the last exercise for that course is to write a lesson plan. But you will see in the video the example, so you can do a similar lesson plan using the form that I will upload to the virtual room, and that will be the task for next for the last task. So it will be for Sunday the 24th.
24. Yes, because for this weekend is the other questionnaire.
Exactly,
Questionnaire.
exactly.
Okay. I promise I'm gonna read. Last week I wasn't I don't remember you told me cómo se dice incapacitado.
Uh, you had a no. That's a sick note. A sick note
Yes.
is what what the teacher, what the doctor gives you. But
Okay, sick, yeah.
check.
But really we were in a rush today. And they closed the platform for upgrading the grades.
Uh-huh.
2 minutes before I finished because a partner, yes, a partner of one teacher helped me to correct some exams.
Uh-huh.
She dictated me the grades I upload, and they closed the platform. And then I had lunch very, 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 very fast. I took 3 minutes for sending you the presentation to your mail, and we finish at 7 at night with primary. Tomorrow we have secondary.
Um, I
Do you know
see.
about that? What is the meeting that we do for promote or to check all the grades of all the students every year in a school? We have to be with all the teachers of the school, and we have to study case by case, student by student, if they are gonna be promoted or not. Did you
Mm,
know that?
no, I didn't know that.
It happens. That's every all the schools in.
Well, well, this is the word that you asked for.
Yes, thank you. Incapacitated. Yes.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah, we have.
really had a big migraine. I didn't do anything. I tried to sleep with a dark room. You know.
You need vacations, Luis.
Yeah.
Okay, one day
But
we
now I have a
go.
little headache. I didn't eat something, so I'm gonna take 1 minute to go to the kitchen
Sure, go.
while
Go
my
while your
classmates arrive.
classes. Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay, I am gonna take this out because it looks bad like this.
Okay. See you in a while.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Hello, Claudia.
Hello, teacher.
How are you?
Fine. You?
Good. I was talking to Luis. He just left for a second to eat something because he just arrived from work. And so I will ask you to wait for him like some minutes before so he comes back, and then we will start. And then I don't know what happened with the other students.
Yes, that is right, teacher.
Okay, so let's wait some minutes and then while he comes
Okay,
back. Thank
no
you.
problem.
Hello, Claudia.
You ate fast, Luis.
No, teacher, I'm gonna take off. How do you say? Take off the camera?
Okay.
No,
Um,
is take off the camera or
turn off.
turn
Turn.
off? Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna turn off the camera, but I am here, so I'm gonna be with you here. But I don't want to bother you while I eat something.
Okay.
Starting.
No problem.
Thank you. Appreciate. I appreciate.
Okay. So let's start. We will review the reading that you had last week, which is about paradigmatic relations, right? So if you remember, we mentioned that paradigmatic relations are the ones that go vertically, hmm? So that we can't replace pronouns by a pronoun or a noun, a verb by other verb. So in that idea of paradigmatic relations, semantics studies the meaning of words. And by studying the meaning of words, in this unit we had the concept of semantic fields. What is a semantic field? What's that? So for example, when we say uncle and
Yes, teacher.
father,
Uh,
mother,
yes, we use words related to one, but there are words that are not really like father, mother, but I think that we can use words that are related, that are very close to that meaning,
exactly, very
but
good.
that have to a relation. between them.
Yes, words that are close in meaning or have a relation because of their meaning, right? So in some books we find them like family words. So we have family words connected to, in this example, are family members. But we can have as a semantic field, we can have animals, we can have um, adjectives to describe people, adjectives to describe objects. We can have words connected to parts of the house or words connected to parts of a car. Those are semantic fields. So words, as Luis mentioned, that are connected because of their meaning or they have a close meaning. Those are semantic fields.
Teacher,
And
excuse me,
yes,
for example, it could be a semantic field if I talk about the ocean, okay, fish, a whale, but I can say that a ship is is part of that semantic field.
yes, it
A
is
ship
part.
or a boat, or, yeah.
It is part. Yes. Sorry, and in sorry. In order to organize those semantic fields, we have different ways. That is the one that we have on the left, and this one too. So, in your example, Luis, we have words connected to the ocean: fish, water, ship. We can organize those words by using this graph because we can. How can you call this graph?
How can you call what? Excuse me.
This graph. This.
It's like organigram or something like that.
Okay. And it presents words in what order?
In decreasing order or alphabetic order or something like
No, in a hierarchical way.
that.
So you
Hierarchical.
have,
Okay, thank you.
so
Yes,
you will
hierarchical.
have on the top, for example, ocean, and then you will have here animals, and then you will have here fish and sharks, and here you will have chips, and here you will have water, and here waves and other thing connected to water, right?
Okay, and now
So
I understand perfectly.
good. So that's one way to organize semantic fields. And we have this other way. How do you call this other way to organize semantic fields? This presents words in a hierarchical way, and this one presents words in what way?
Like a thermometer.
Mhm. In what order?
Um,
Of the differentiation.
We can find different differences between the part on the top and the bottom, which are
Mm-hmm.
antonyms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes.
But here we have a hierarchical structure, and here we have a linear structure. So words that are in a linear structure are not easy to find out the boundaries. Do you remember the word boundaries? So boundaries when we have limits, but limits are not easy to be limits. Well, sorry, words that are is presented in this structure, in a linear structure, don't have a clear boundary or limit. For example, when we teach the frequency adverbs, and we say always, usually, frequently, sometimes, rarely, and never. So, how can we explain the difference among them? We use percentages usually. We say always is 100%, never is 0%. And like those antonyms are easy to understand. But the other ones, the other words like frequently, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, the limits among them are not clear. So we don't say we cannot assure that rarely is always gonna be 10% or 20% of the times. It's not clear. The boundary is not that it's not black or white. It's in the middle. Mm? So those words, that structure, that is the linear structure, uh, is called in semantics a monopolar chain. And here we have examples. In each column we have examples of monopolar chains that follow the characteristics of linear structures because the boundaries among the words are not that specific. So each one of the columns are related to one characteristic. Example, here we have, where is it? Okay, here we have range, right? So this list of words, doctor, master, bachelor, high school graduate, primary school graduate, those words are connected with the topic of range. What about senior, adult, adolescent, child, and baby? What type of monopolar change is that?
Stage, teacher.
Exactly. Those are stages. Burning, hot, warm, mild, cold, and freezing.
Seconds.
No, we don't have first, second, and finally in this example.
Teacher, climate, maybe?
Is connected to the semantic field of climate or weather. That is a semantic field. But what is the name of the monopolar change? If here we have a rank, we rank people according to the education. Here we have stages of life. What do we have here?
Grid.
Which one?
Grids.
How do you call it? How do you spell it?
Grids is about the.
Okay, I got it. Grades.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay, could be grades. Could be grades.
It could have another name, teacher. That
Yes, it
grades.
could have another name. Which one?
No, I think sensation or something like that. Yeah, I don't know, but
Conditions, maybe, teacher?
Which one, George?
Conditions?
I didn't get it. Could you repeat?
Conditions, teacher, maybe? Could be
Condition.
a monopolar chain? Yes.
The idea is that the name that we give to this group, that we can get other example for the same name. For example, in stages, we can get examples of stages of animals. So we can say that the egg is one the first stage. The second stage could be the hatch, and the last stage could be the chicken. So the name that we give to the group is the one that can be exemplified with different words. So in ranks, we can have ranks for military ranks, or we can have ranks connected to the organization of a company. So we can say that the CEO, then we have the directors, then we have
managers,
exactly managers, the leaders, employees in general. So the word that we give to the group needs to cover other examples. What about this group? Enormous, big, medium size, small, and
Measures.
tiny.
size.
Yeah. So measures. Good. So when we explain to students the difference between hot and warm, or senior and adult and adolescent, we could use the linear structure to explain that those go from, I mean, that the extremes, the ones that are on the top and the one that is on the bottom, are opposites, but in the middle we have variations. Yes. So that, for example, we could say that adolescents are what age? Adolescents are people who are what age?
16.
Between 12 to 15.
15 or 16.
12 to 15. Hmm? So, and adults?
Maybe from
40.
18,
18
18 to 50.
to 50. So that
Yeah.
up to 50 are seniors. So
Yes.
in 10 years, I will be a senior. You see, the limits are difficult to.
Not only you, teacher. Me too.
The limits are difficult here. For example, in you know that in USA, in order to get the right to vote, people need to be 21. So that probably for North American people, a person who is 18 is not yet an adult because doesn't have yet them is not mature enough to make some decisions. So this is to explain that the difference or the boundaries among the words are not clear in this group of words, in these semantic fields.
Sure, we can say maybe it's like a social agreement, but it's not a rule.
Could you repeat?
Maybe we can say it's like a social agreement. We can say an adult is between 18 and 40, but it's not a rule. It's just because in social mediums, an adult is from 18 here in Colombia.
Exactly. Yes, that's right. That's a good explanation. For example, ranks, the military ranks vary. The names that are given vary from the names given in Colombia and the names given in the USA. So those are part of, as you mentioned, George, cultural agreements about the names that will be given to um, certain moments in somebody's career in the military field. So if the person in the military field is able to do some activities and has some studies, so it's going to be given a name that can be different from the name given in Colombia. So yes, some boundaries, some names are agreements that societies have to name, in this case, ranks or stages. Good. In that reading, you also read about clusters. What are clusters? That's the name given in semantics, and in syntax. What is the name?
Cluster is about synonyms.
Exactly. So the word given in syntax is synonyms, and the word given in semantics is clusters. And then the readings mention the concept of core in clusters. What's that? In example one, we have handle, cope with, and accept, which are synonyms. And those clusters have a core. What is the core in that group?
Sure, a core is like a group of words.
A rule?
It's a rule.
No, no, it's not a rule. Let's probably we with this one, the second example is gonna be easier to remember the concept. So in the second group of words, we have tie the knot, get hitched, wed, become man and wife. So all those words are synonyms, but they are different in the register that they express. So if a person says get hitched, it's different if the person says wet. So this is more informal than the word wet. In this group of words, what is the core?
What, teacher?
Well, it's not in the list.
Ah,
What is the core?
married, no?
Yes, marry.
Yes.
So marry is a neutral word. Neutral in the sense that it doesn't express any register. If the person says marry, is not connected to any social status or any group of people of a certain social status or any formal or informal word. Is neutral. So when the word is neutral in a group of synonyms or clusters, is called the core of the cluster.
Teacher, it's like the reference word is
Yes,
the reference.
exactly. So maybe the reason why some foreigners say that people from Bogota speak good Spanish is because probably we use those core words that are neutral. Maybe because those are the words that are in the dictionary. It doesn't mean, if you remember, we studied social linguistics the last semester. We studied that concept of good English or good Spanish is something that is socially constructed, that is agreed by a society, and that the rest of the people accept it. But if the majority of people want to change it, then we could say that uh, English spoken in Colombia is the one that is the best. Yes, so those concepts of cores for clusters are connected to what we have in dictionaries. And the words that we have in the dictionaries are the ones that are established by societies as the ones that are appropriate, that are that have no register, like the word marry. Mm? But in this example, we have other words that if we listen to them, we can connect them with a register or a social status. So if we mention in Spanish the translation of the word of the word tie the knot, like se colgó la soga al cuello o se lanzó para get hitch o se volvieron esposo y esposa. En las palabras se colgó la soga al cuello y get hitch, que es lanzarse o sí, se lanzó, se decidió. Sí hay en español una conexión con formal o informal y con un grupo de personas que pertenecen a un estatus social que de pronto usan más esas palabras que la palabra casarse. ¿Sí? Lo mismo pasa, the same happens with the words connected with the idea of angry. Yes? So we can say, in Spanish we can say, se emberracó, se enfureció, se enojó, y otras que son más groseras y que pueden ser conectadas con un estatus social o con una formalidad o informalidad. So in that idea of clusters or synonyms, when we clearly identify neutral words, we call them cores. So in the group number 3, what is the core? We have break up, get cold feet, and you. What is the core?
It's like to be mad
No,
or sick.
no.
Get cold feet.
When a person breaks up with other person, when you say we
Divorce?
broke up, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the neutral one is divorce. Okay. In the group number 4, be certified, be licensed, become an alumnus. The core is
Graduation.
okay. Graduate. Very good. And in group number 1, handle, cope with, and accept.
To manage.
Manage is okay. That is one word that in Spanish we have one, but in English we have two. We have manage and we have handle. So handle is used for talking about situations or people that we tolerate. So the core in this group will be tolerate. Manage is used in a situation of work. So we can translate it as gerenciar, administrar, manejar una compañía, pero en la situación de trabajo. Y handle, manejar también, pero manejar a una persona, manejar la situación, tolerar la situación o la persona. So this is an example of one, two words that in Spanish we use only one, that is manejar. In English we use two for two different situations. But well, the idea of the core in this group is tolerate, right? Which is the one that has a neutral meaning. It's not informal, it's not formal, it's not connected with social status, it's neutral. Okay. Questions about clusters and core? Any question about the reading? Because the reading was mainly about this and the boundaries in grammar tenses. But I consider that you already know the boundaries among grammar tenses. When do we use present simple, the uses of past simple, the uses of past perfect. So those boundaries are in tenses, in grammar tenses, are connected to time, the time when the action happens. But I don't know if maybe you have questions about that, or would you want me to review that with you?
No, teacher, I have read the unit 7 and I have some questions about the topic of selective restriction.
Restriction?
Selection of restrictions. Yes, it's not clear for me. I have read about 3 times and it's not clear for me.
What is the complete name? Restrictions.
That topic.
What's the complete name, George? Restrictions what?
Selection of restrictions.
Could you read the exercise that you have in the task about selection restrictions, please?
Yes, teacher, sure. The exercise is read information about selection restrictions, then explain the selection restrictions of the following verbs: swim, open, stop, bring, and spend. That's the exercise number 1. And the exercise number 2, read the explanation of the concept of atelic, static, dynamic, durative, punctual in the book Basic Semantics. Then read the following sentences and use the concepts above to explain the causes of the mistakes.
Okay, good. Now, selection restrictions is connected with syntagmatic relations. because we mentioned last encounter that syntagmatic relations are connections in a horizontal way. So how we the combinations of the words that we have pronouns and verbs, verbs and complements, and in those verbs and complements we have restrictions, so that we cannot say uh, I always swim, or I swim in the mountains every Friday. So selection restrictions are connected with the combination of verb and the complement, so that the word swim will always require a complement that uh, is connected with water. So
Yes.
mountains is not a possibility there, because the word swim restricts the complement there, or the object that follows, or the word that follows to the verb.
Which has no sense, the sentence in that way.
Exactly.
Has no
So
sense.
in order to have sense, with some words, we need to consider the restriction of some words. Like the word swim will
Uh,
always need to be connected with a
it's
place
connected always with water.
with a place that has water, where people can actually uh, perform the action of swimming. So the possibilities will be I swim in a pool, I swim in a lake, I swim in the ocean,
River.
in the river. Okay, so those are the restrictions.
Okay, sorry. Those are the restrictions. Is not that cannot be in a relation. The restrictions are that can be in a relation.
Yes, the selection restrictions are related to the objects that some verbs accept to give meaning to a sentence.
Okay, I was thinking in the opposite way, teacher. So now I understand that as Jorge Mario said, for example, you put mountain. Mountains is not a selection restriction for swimming
Exactly,
for swim. Yes.
exactly. Uh-huh.
Okay.
I cannot say here I swim in my car. So the word swim restricts the object or the place where I swim to a place that is big with a lot of water where I actually can perform the activity. Eh, for example, the verb park has also restrictions. The restriction is a big place where I can put a car, a bicycle, a vehicle. So I cannot say I park in my bedroom every night. So those are the selection restrictions. The verb park restricts the next object. I mean, talking about syntax, the object of the sentence to a place that has space um, for a means of transportation, and that is usually used for the purpose of doing the action. So since semantics is about meaning, so we can explain that the meaning of the sentence is not clear because the verb park has selection restrictions and the words in my bedroom don't fit the selection restrictions of the verb park in semantics words.
So, teacher, what we have to do is to name what are the restrictions related to the verb.
To
For
each one.
example, in the to its verb. For example, in verb number one, we can say the complement always have to be has a relation with water.
Exactly. Water
That's
and
what.
a big place that has water. Because I could say
Okay.
eh, it cannot be, no puede ser un charco. Un charco tiene agua, pero pues no se puede nadar ahí.
O la ducha.
O la ducha, exacto. Entonces, específicamente la palabra swim está, me obliga a buscar un espacio que tenga mucha agua y que sea grande donde se pueda hacer la acción. Maybe you have experienced some or reading some sentences produced by students in which the problem is in the is connected to this idea of selection restrictions. Sometimes the students choose the wrong complement of the verb. So we can also like explain this topic in a class by using, for example, word bubbles and by having the students understand connections among words so that as their swim can be done in a river, in an ocean, here other one in a swimming pool, right? That can help the students understand the combinations of the verbs with uh, some specific, in this case, places. Okay, and that topic is belongs to unit 7 because it's about the relations of the words in a horizontal way, not in a vertical but a horizontal way. So what is the order of the words and what words are accepted next next to each other or before and after one specific word. While what we studied today are connected to paradigmatic relations in a horizontal way because we were reviewing the connection of words that belong to the same semantic field, to the same family of words, and that we need to explain to students the boundaries that are not clear. Those words belong to the same category. So adjectives in this case, here nouns, here also nouns, and nouns here. So that if we choose one or the other, we need to explain to students that the differences are not sometimes clear and it depends on sometimes the culture or it shows a difference that is marked by, for example, size in the case of the first group or studies in the case of the last group or stages in the case of the third group. Questions, comments?
No, teacher, thanks for the explanation here.
Yes, about selection restrictions. Thank you. Thanks for the question, Jorge Mario.
Okay.
That's easy, teacher. I read that chapter like 4 times.
It's because are new words for you. We know the words that are given in syntax. We know that this is called synonyms, that the clusters are called synonyms, that, I mean, it's just to give the name. We are learning the names that are given in semantics to things that we already know. We already know that words like swim just allowed us to have certain combinations. But the name that is given to that in the semantics is selection restrictions. Okay, so that's all that we had to review about chapter 6. And we are missing just chapter 7 and 8, and we are done with the course. So you have the grades in the virtual room, right? So please check them, check the feedback, and I have to check the task that you have to hand in for next Sunday, and the one that you have to hand in for the 24th, and that's the end of the course. So I will ask you to fill in the self-evaluation form next week. Good. So thank you for joining the counter, for your participation. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher. God bless you. Bye-bye, partners.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Teacher, thank you very much.
You are
God bless
welcome.
you.
Okay, God bless all of you. Bye-bye. Have a good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.